thank you very much. It's very good to see you once again. This will not be my last stage performance, unfortunately. But we have been talking quite a lot, or listening to the experts in different fields. As Monica mentioned, we have been diving deep into the law, the legal requirements. We have been looking at construction materials and how to register them. We have also been seeing quite a lot about Swedish business culture, thanks to Leo Wallin. But there are a couple of things that I wanted to pick up on in this international program from the other programs that are going on in the fair that we wanted to present to you, English speakers as well. One of those very important issues is, of course, sustainability, a very broad term. We usually see that Stockholm and the Stockholm region is very, very good at attracting impact investments, for example. It's one of the biggest impact hubs in Europe at the moment, after Paris. So I wanted to focus a bit on that, also diving deeper into what kind of projects there are going on in the Stockholm region and what examples do we have internationally. So we do have an expert panel today. I would like to ask the speakers to come up. First of all, we have Sofia Johansson. She is the head of staff at the Stockholm School Properties Company, a developer of schools and preschools here in Stockholm, with a lot of very interesting examples we will hear about. Secondly, I would like to ask Abdel Akali. He is the sales manager for a company called Lidax from the Netherlands, our international expert here today. You have been going circular, basically, so you will tell us more about that in a minute. And last but not least, Marcus Magnell, head of partnerships at proptech Sweden, Sweden's proptech organization, with a lot of members in the proptech community, but also developers and construction companies. Welcome. So, to start things off, I would like to ask you about the examples that you have. I would like to, just in a few words, tell us more about your organizations and your companies and what you do. Maybe we can start with you, Sofia.
Yes, so I represent CISAB, which is the school property company here in the region. And we own and manage about 600 properties, and that makes us not only one of the largest property owners here in the capital region, but also in the nation. And we've been working structured with digital means to work with energy efficiency and also to increase the quality of the indoor air quality since about 2012. And we've been working to connect all our properties so we can manage them from our head office. And we've also been applying AI for the past years now. Yeah.
To give another example, Abdel, your company has been going circular in the manufacturing process, but also in the mindset. So could you tell us more about what you did and why and what the outcomes were, basically?
Yeah, sure. Lidax is a Dutch producer of circular roofing materials. We are producing flashing materials, mainly for pitch roofs, and flat roofing membranes for flat roofing, like EPDM and bitumen. And we have a new material based on PVB, polyvinyl butyryl, and this is actually a polymer which is mainly used in safety glass, in car windows. And after the lifetime in a car glass, this PVB will be burned and dumped. And we have created a method to get this material under control and to reuse it again, recycle it again for our production process. And we already, as you mentioned, Conrad, we already have experience in the production of waterproofing materials, but based on a virgin raw material, based on bituminous. And the reason Lidax was founded was actually because we strongly believe in big steps towards a circular economy. So we had to change our mind a bit to make the transition from being a linear or a producer of linear materials to a successful circular business model. And and now we started our business in 2018, and now we are exporting to 18 countries around the globe and trying to make some impact together with the local construction industry.
And Marcus, you represent all proptech companies in Sweden. I don't know how many members you have. It's like 250 or?
I wish. I don't know if you can hear me.
I don't know. I have to put the mic on. Once we do that, maybe we can go to you, Sophia, just quickly. You were talking about AI. That has been like a hot topic in this for like forever.
Yeah.
Everybody's like AI and cool story and so on, but you never really listen. But you guys have actually managed to do something and reaching positive outcomes.
Yeah.
I'm an economics guy. I like to see figures.
Yeah.
So what have the outcomes been?
Yeah. So if we start by the figures, we have applied AI in about 170 of our properties, and those 170 properties, they cover about 1.3 million square meters, so it's quite a big volume. Our focus when we use the AI and the technology and the management of the properties, I would say there are two main focuses. I mentioned before the indoor air quality is super important for all our tenants, for the kids and youth going to our schools, but also to decrease the energy consumption. And for us being a public company, it's also political goals for us to lower the energy consumption and to maintain a good indoor air quality. So by using AI, we set frames. So the temperature, we have a frame for temperature, we have a frame for the air quality, and so on. And by that, we can see that we actually save about 100 million Swedish crowns, would be 10 million euros yearly by doing so. And that enables us to continue to invest in other types of technology to go forward. Yeah.
And also building new schools, I guess. That's one part of it.
For sure. But I mean, for the past 10 years, we have been building so many new buildings as well. But even though we have so many more square meters, we still have very, very much lower consumption now than we had 10 years ago.
So once again, Marcus, how many organizations do you have in your portfolio?
We have 130 companies that have joined us so far. First company came in 2020, so it's been a pretty good growth for a period of 4 years.
So you're going to be 250 soon.
We will.
Yeah, perfect.
We will. Do you want me to say anything about proptech Sweden and what we think that we've accomplished? Just a quick one. The members that's where you find the knowledge. So I can always point at either my fellow colleagues here in the panel or my members. That's my way to move forward. What I'm good at is that you hear a lot about collaborations these days. You want people to find strategic and commercial partnerships to speed up the tempo in come up with a change that is so much needed. I haven't been in construction or in real estate that long, but I've been in other business areas. And I think it's interesting to come into a pretty conservative type of business and see the need for more collaboration, more maybe even more competition and more challenges that will push us in the right direction. AI is one of the tools, if you will, or happenings that actually will help us move in the right direction, but there's so much more to it, obviously. And a lot of people tend to say that they enjoy working together with others, but we all know for a fact that it comes problems with that, and you need to solve them along the way, and you need to have the spirit and the ability to work together to actually find those ways forwards. That's where I find that's my claim of why I exist, basically.
And of course, I mean, you are experts on seeing the whole of the proptech industry. I know that we've commissioned a report from you guys it's not completely ready yet, but it will be in a couple of days or weeks. Could you maybe tell us a bit about the Swedish proptech industry in general terms? How does it look like now, and what do you see in the nearest future?
Sure. Well, we a lot of companies are proptech companies without even knowing it. They wouldn't refer to themselves as being a proptech company. One of our biggest members is Skanska, as an example. And to me, they're proptech, and obviously to a few of the employees in Skanska, they refer to themselves as maybe AI experts or proptech experts. So that'd be a good example. If I look at the memberships that we have, or the members that we have within proptech Sweden, you can divide them into 4 segments, if you will. One would be the startup, scale-up tech companies, usually super digital and fairly new. Then you have another corner would be the construction companies, the real estate companies, facility services companies and such. A third corner would be bank, finance, investment companies. And then in the last but not least, but in the fourth corner, you'll have consultants. So that's what they consist of. And a lot of these people at a lot of these companies wouldn't refer to themselves as being proptech people or proptech companies, but they are. They have the knowledge, they have the experience. What we create within proptech Sweden and other enablers or organizations, we create the field where all these different talents and skills meet. And that's where the magic happens.
And going back to the circular theme as well, I was recently at MIPIM, where in Stockholm had a circular stand. I know that it takes a lot of sacrifice to go circular, because I was in the whole process of building, or not building that stand, of course, but I was in the project management for that. What kind of, did you have any sacrifices you have to make to adapt? What kind of adaptations did you do? And are you happy with it? I mean, that's the key takeaway, I guess.
Yes, 100%, Conrad, because it's a big challenge, and it's still a big challenge to have a circular ID, to have an innovative ID, which is basically where you target the construction industry. Because as we all know, the construction industry is a bit traditional, a bit conservative. I think there's no difference between Sweden and the Netherlands in that case. So when we started in 2012 about thinking about changing our business model from linear to circular, we did not realize that it will be so difficult to enter the market with a new product. So the biggest challenge was to convince the market about using an innovative product, a new product based on a different raw material as we used to use in the market. That was challenge 1. But in the same time, so if you have a product launched in the market, then all of us will think, okay, I will start selling tomorrow or next week. That was not the case. It took at least 2 years to be successful in our home market, in the Netherlands. And that's lesson number 1 for us, for a factory like us. So I would say the advice is try to finance your circular ID with a successful business model. So in our case, we had our bituminous factory, which was running very successful. And actually, we financed our circular dream with our linear business model. So the linear economy is financing our circular dream and try to make that transition step by step by step. The second thing is regulation, because a lot of certification bodies, a lot of certification requirements are based on traditional materials in the market. So they are not clear requirements set up for new innovations, especially in the construction industry. So there a strong lobby is needed, not only from the private sector, but also from the governmental organization. So try to have a work field for innovators and clear requirements to innovators and give innovators a space in order to be successful and to make impact in the construction industry in our case. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting discussion because we see regulations being more and more, I don't want to call them restrictive, but they are more, the gap between the reality and what the companies do and what the regulations are is growing. And I think, Sophia, you represent the municipal side. I was about to say governmental, but not really municipal, but still public. What challenges do you see in order to get more innovation into your construction projects or even facility management? How can you get more innovation into that?
Well, I see the point of view that you presented, and for us it's more or less the same. We, since we are such a big company, we can always try out new solutions in a small scale, and then when we see it's successful, then we can scale up. And for us being a public company, that's the way of being responsible for the money from the taxpayers here in Stockholm. But regarding legislation, I would also see what we have in front of us right now is that the government is coming with new regulations regarding carbon emissions. And that's really, really good. But on the other hand, they are not as eager to put regulation about circularity. And it has to come hand in hand to get the full effect. So that's also something that we're looking into. Can we use AI for the early phase in construction projects? Because I think that's well needed in this situation, because we cannot carry on building only with a vision to decrease the carbon emission and forget about the circularity until maybe 3 or 4 years later. So that's where we're standing in Sweden right now in construction, I think.
And I'm thinking, Marcus, if you talk to proptech companies that you represent in some instance, what kind of difficulties do they see in order to scale up?
I think it's in their nature that they don't see the difficulties. They see there are opportunities out there, but with the laws and regulations that we have coming in super speed, it's going to force companies to either use AI or find the talents or work in the direction that is so needed to be able to finance whatever project you have in the future. And I think that's good. I think that it shows that there are going to be a possibility to choose a different path, but it's going to be much slower. So you still have that option, if you will. And obviously that means that you're going to go out of business eventually if you keep on that track. So, and I think that's the way the proptech companies look at it. They see opportunities. They have good examples. There are good examples, especially when it comes to reuse and follow up on massive amounts of data and have your decisions base your decisions on actual facts. And I think that the proptech industry overall works in that direction, and I think it's proof of concept for a lot of other companies.
Just a last question to you. PropTech 3.0, I think, is what you call it. You know, the future of PropTech in Sweden. How do you see it?
I'm sure there are super experts here in the audience that have great answers to that. My look and view at it is, how should I answer this question, Conrad? Thanks for putting me on the spot. What I say is that it's the development of PropTech. PropTech has been the terminology by itself has been used since 2018, I think. So it's about 6 years. So it's about time to come up with something new. 2.0 was taken, so let's find a 3.0. That's not really the issue here, but there is a progress, and there are new challenges that we face. One being not super oriented in the tech industry, but it's for any industry. It's where do we find the talents? Where do you have the people that will be part of the big change? That calls for collaboration, not only in your area where you live or where you work. You will have to look elsewhere, other countries, other parts of the world. I think that's what PropTech 3.0 is. Make sure that you not only look around the corner, that's one thing. You can find competence and skills elsewhere. And also, let's not even look at the return on investment as something that you will measure. Look at cost of ignorance. I think that's what people will have to realize.
Looking into the circular thing, do you have similar thoughts about circularity and how you would expand in the future? Hopefully in Sweden, because that's why you're here, I guess.
Yeah, of course. We are already active in Sweden, actually, and I fully agree with you, with my colleague on the right side. I think for a Dutch company like LEDX, one of the lessons we have is to understand the Swedish market better and better and better. Because we, in the Netherlands, the former speaker mentioned in an overview about the changes between the several countries and in doing business culture. And I think the way of our approach in the Netherlands is more directive and more learning by doing, etc., etc. So for our company, for me, it's a big lesson, a big challenge to learn more about doing business in Sweden, and that's actually why we have a good collaboration with the local embassies of the Netherlands here. They are understanding the market very well. They are our bridge to the market. So, and once we did that, once we learn more about the market, and then starting the conversation about how we can approach the challenges we have in the market, because the challenges are almost the same as we have in the Netherlands around using virgin materials, about promoting circularity, etc., etc. So the challenges are the same, but the approach could be different.
And Sophia, last word to you from the municipal side. What do you see in the future? What will you do in order to enable? Is collaboration the key word for you as well?
For sure it is, for sure. And one part of collaboration would be actually the humans and the technology. Yeah. It's very easy to store data when it's given from the systems, but when we have information that we need to add from us, it's very difficult to sort it and store it in the right way and trust it. So that's definitely a journey for us. But otherwise, I would say there are two big possibilities in the industry for us as we see. I mentioned before the early phase in the construction projects. We have a couple of 100 projects ongoing, even though it's on a low at the moment. And all specialities, they want to be in the earlier phase of the project. Sustainability has to be the one putting the frames in the first day. But so say also the constructor, the architect, the specialty at daylight and rainwater. So everyone wants to be the one setting the frame in the early stage. So I really do think we need to use the AI to do the early calculations and just add all the frames, and then AI can help us with the basic layout, and then we can continue. That would be one thing. The other thing is that we see it's very positive with the development of sensors. We have about 20,000 sensors in our buildings at the moment, and we have been developing a sensor for measuring radon in real time. And it's super interesting to connect that with AI and maybe adjust the ventilation system automatically. So more sensors like that. And one could be, maybe, hopefully, someone in the audience could pick that up. I mean, it would be super interesting just with a sensor measuring sound from the ventilation outlet. And maybe it could adjust the ventilation so we don't have a sound problem in the classrooms. And maybe we could wait to change the ventilation system a couple of years. we also have to take care of the finance in a sustainable way. So I think that could be super interesting with the development of more sensors.
Perfect. So you have a ready business case, basically. You can go to Sofia and...
Please do.
Yes, and also an investor ready, of course, because you're a public investor at least. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your expertise. I really like your modesty, Marcus, but you're also an expert. Even if it's on sales, you have to be an expert there as well. So thank you very much. You, of course, will be here to answer questions. I will also remind you, this concludes the international program for today. We do have a couple of other things in English. At 2 o'clock on Thursday, we're going to talk market entry in the Stockholm stand. So you're very welcome to listen into that, especially if you're from a different country than Sweden and want to enter this market. So please welcome. And of course, PropTech Sweden also has a stand here. You're very welcome to visit their PropTech hour, which is between 2 and 3, right? Today, every day.
Right now, yeah.
Right now, yeah. Okay, so you have to, yeah. And of course, Ledax is part of the Dutch stand as well, so you're very welcome to speak to them as well. Thank you very much, and a big applause for our panel.
Thank you.